I did my project on a movie called The First Grader. This movie depicts the true story of an 84-year-old man named Maruge who attempts to enter a primary school. The Kenyan government offered free education to all citizens, and Maruge, who did not know how to read or write, decided to take them up, literally. Even though primary school was filled with young students, he decided to try and enter primary school, and although he got a lot of grief, one teacher named Jane had a soft spot for his desire and she helped him get into the school. The film is about him getting into the school and then his life in the school following that. There are a lot of social issues within the film, and Jeff Coinage, who's a talk show host and author based out of Kenya, tweeted that he thought this movie was the most important movie of our time, described it as a must-watch. I think he's referring to some of the social issues that this movie depicts. One of those obviously being age in school, and then racism and mental disorders from those who have fought in battle. Because Maruge was a veteran, and he fought in the revolt against the British, and there was also where he witnessed a lot of racism, and he struggled mentally with flashbacks, and sometimes that caused him to sometimes act violently towards his fellow classmates who were young children. These social issues didn't make just an impact on those in Kenya, but it was also an impact here in America, as this shows well with Whoopi Goldberg, who a lot of Americans know. She is kind of the face of the TV show called The View. She raves about the movie in this video, and she talks about how it highlights a lot of social issues, which is very true, and really just she shows and she raves about the importance of this movie. And then a lot of times in movies about Africa, the bad things can get depicted. However, the cultural significance of this movie is that it shows there's good in Africa too. Obviously, this movie was a pretty fun movie to watch, and you get emotionally attached, and seeing the 84-year-old man Maruge enter school is enjoyable to watch and cool to see. Obviously, Maruge looked quite different than most of the other students, as he was almost 80 years older than them, and the film technique does a good job of portraying this, as this picture right here shows. Jane is teaching Maruge, but he's in a classroom with all his other fellow classmates, yet he is quite distinct and different from them. My personal response, is that this movie uses one issue to highlight that many others. Obviously, the main issue here is the question of age in school and whether adults should be allowed to go to primary school if they need to learn the basics of education, such as reading and writing, and then if any other education they may need. But not only did they touch on those, but they touched on a lot of other social issues, such as racism, like I referred to earlier, and his flashbacks fighting against the British, where he was treated harshly because of his race, and his mental issues in the war. So this movie is obviously a great movie to watch, but it has a lot of underlying meaning, and it is very effective.